Hi, friends, and welcome to Gilded Loop. My name is Matt, and today we're going to be doing a yarn review. I started buying the particular yarn that we're going to be reviewing today a while ago. I bought one ball, and then I just loved the way that it looked when it came, and a little bit later I got another colorway, and a little bit later I got another colorway. Um, so, what we're going to be reviewing today is Premier Yarns, and this is called Spun Colors. I have a couple swatch samples that we're going to be going over today, um, and reviewing and seeing kind of what they look like worked up. Now, there are a lot of colorways in this. Not all of them are my jive, but several of them were stunningly gorgeous, and I just had to get them. These normally run $9.99 on Premier's website, so they're $10 a ball. However, sometimes they do run sales. Like, for example, right now they have it on their weekly sale where it's 20% off, so it's $7.99. You can also regularly find them a little bit discounted on officesupplies.com. I'll go ahead and include the link in the description for that. Right now, the best deal is on Premier's website at $7.99. But like I said, it's not always that price. I think like office supplies is like $8.50 or something like that, or $8.99, or it's a little bit cheaper, but it is a really, really beautiful, stunning yarn. So let's go ahead and take a look. So Spun Colors. This is a roving style yarn. So what a roving style yarn means is it's kind of twisted together. So some spots are going to be super thin and some spots are going to be thicker. So it is classified as a 4-weight. However, your yarn at some points can go up to a 5-weight thickness, and at some points can go down to even like a sport weight or a 2-weight thickness. Just kind of depends, and it really does make your project really nice. I find that this style of yarn usually takes a little bit longer for me to crochet than a standard 4-weight yarn. So you may have a different experience. That's just my experience. I've used roving style yarns and I love them. I did a review on Line Brand's Ferris wheel yarn, which is also a roving style yarn. They're beautiful. They take a little bit longer because at some points you're at a 2 thickness and some points you're at a 5 thickness. It all varies. Anyway, so let's go ahead and take a look over the stats for this. So this is 65% acrylic, 35% superwash merino, which is a wool. It's a washable wool. So this is a 4 medium weight. That's how it's classified. It is hand wash, lay flat to dry. So I wouldn't advise making large blankets out of this. Of course, if you were going to try to make a large blanket out of this at $9.99 a ball, it would get kind of pricey. But they make beautiful scarves, hats, gloves, cowls, shawls even. Wait till you see the swatches that I have worked up. They really are stunning. This requires or suggests a 5mm crochet hook, which is a USH8. And also, if you're a knitter, it's a 5mm knitting needle. I did some swatches with the 5mm. Preferably myself, I would size up to the 5.5. So I did the 5mm. It wound up a little tight, so a little stiffer of a fabric. But when you go just a little bit up, one size up, went to the 5.5, beautiful drape, like loved it. It was perfection for me. So anyway, this colorway is called Mauve, the one that I'm holding in my hand. But let's go ahead and take a look at the swatches without further ado. All right. So again, this is just a closer up of Mauve. And if you are a subscriber to my channel, I posted a sneak peek of the project that I worked up in this exact colorway, mauve. But I wanted to show you the yarn. So let's go ahead and take a look. So this is what you have with a roving style yarn. I just want you to pay attention to the thickness. So see, we're at like kind of a 4 weight here. We definitely go up to at least a 5 weight here. And if we continue on, see how it can get just a little bit thinner here. So that's very common of a roving style yarn. But let's go ahead and start with this one here. So this colorway here, I had eyed for the longest time, and I'm not big on reds. Reds are not my jive. But I, as you all know, I love greens and blacks and whites. And this color is called Poppy. And this is what it looks like. So this is all the different colorways. And like I said, some of the yarns on this I love, and some I would never use. So they have a wide variety for all the tastes that could possibly be out there. But this is the yarn. It's scrumptious, beautiful. Let's go ahead and take a look at the swatch that I've worked up here for us. All right. So this is the swatch, and this crochet stitch is the knotted half double crochet. And this is the first time I've ever done the knotted half double, and it was pretty easy. I really liked it. If you are interested in this, I do not have a tutorial on the knotted half double, but I did find one that was posted by Bag a Day, so you can just do a search for the knotted half double crochet, and I'm sure you'll run across Bag a Days, and it was pretty easy to follow as far as that tutorial. So this is knotted half double, and this is Poppy. So I used the 5mm hook, and you can see how it's kind of crunchy, like it needed a larger hook. I definitely needed to do a larger hook on my foundation row here. So if you take anything away from my mistakes, is with this yarn in particular, you need to go a full size up. So if you're using 5mm hook, go up to a 6 when you're doing your foundation row, just for that row, so it's nice and loose. Otherwise, I'm dealing with a really tight foundation row here. And I normally try to crochet it a little loose, but I used the regular 5mm, what I was using in the project, and I regret that decision. But it's beautiful. It has like this fire red, whites, grays, blacks, like a earthy green color. So you can see that this yarn has really short bursts of color, but they spread out really nicely kind of across your project. So this is Poppy, and I really think that this is beautiful. I can imagine this in a scarf or a hat, or even a scarf, hat, and glove set. If you have somebody who these colors would resonate with, I think that this is really beautiful. Okay, the next colorway that we have here is called Blue Ridge. So Blue Ridge was one that I saw at first, and I was like, I don't know. And I'm going to tell you the reason why I was so skeptical of some of these colors is all I see is a knit sample on the website, and the knit sample looks nothing, not even in the realm of what it would look like in a crocheted sample. So it just doesn't do it justice at all, any way, shape, or form. So that's why I really wanted to bring to you some of these crocheted samples, because they look so different. Like the ones on the website almost look striped, and as you can see, this is not striped. This is a variegated for sure. So anyway, so Blue Ridge here, you got silvers and purples and blues, a couple different variations of blues, and some golds. Absolutely beautiful. And I failed to share with you all earlier the yardage because it wasn't right there. It's up here. So it's 419 yards, 384 meters. It's a 7-ounce ball and 200 grams. I will make sure that there is a link to this yarn in the description box. I am an affiliate of Premier. All that means is I get a small commission if you go through the link in my description box to make your purchase. So this is what the swatch sample looks like. This is a feather stitch. So I have done the feather stitch before. It does take a little bit longer. It's a small bit of a yarn eater. Not terribly. It's really not terribly for a yarn eater, but it does work up a little bit thicker. I'll say that this is much more cushier and thicker than this half double crochet. So if you're trying to do something a little bit thicker, I don't think that this particular style yarn is going to be like for people in sub-zero climates. This is more, this scarf would be more of a decorative scarf, not really for warmth. But it does have some wool in it, so I'm sure that it does provide some warmth. I think it all depends on your pattern, but this is a very beautiful pattern, and it is, there's no holes in it, and it does work up to be a little bit thicker. So again, this is the feather stitch. You can find this in most crochet stitch books. I don't have a tutorial for the feather stitch on my channel, but I could bring one if you're all interested. Anyway, so that is that. I did see that some of the darker colors were starting to pool a little bit here, where the lighter colors were pooling a little bit here. I think that the more that you worked up your project, it would start to come over. So as you can see, it was really all the lighter colors here, and then some of these darker colors are starting to work their way up over here. So I do think that that would correct itself. If for some reason it didn't, you'd cut off the yarn, tie it on in a different spot in your project to make sure that the pooling starts happening over here so you can control it a little bit. But I think it would correct itself as you kind of went along. But I thought this was very, very, very beautiful. I really like this stitch pattern, but it is not a quick stitch pattern. It's not something you're going to get through at lightning speed. It takes a little bit longer because you got to stay focused and really, kind of get into your stitches. So that's the feather stitch and Blue Ridge. And then the last colorway was this mauve color that I showed you a couple minutes ago. And I think it's beautiful. Lots of different colors of purple. Like I said, if you are subscribed to my channel, you'll see that I did a little teaser post about my project that I worked up. Now, for this project, I did an entire ball, an entire cake of this yarn because I wanted you to be able to see how much yield you're going to get out of it, number one, and number two, what it looks like in a whole project. So this is one entire cake. I do not have a good tape measure down here, but let's see kind of how far we got. So there's a foot, 2 feet, 3 feet, 3 feet, 9 inches. Okay, so 45 inches is what I got out of this. You definitely want to have more than that for a full scarf. So this is just maybe a hair over 9 inches. And I like my scarves to be between 8 and 9 inches. Some people like the thinners. I've even seen people do as little as 6 or 7. But I like my scarves to be at least 8 inches. 9 is where I like to be. But so you might be able to get a full 4 feet out of it if you went more only 8 inches wide. But if you can't tell, this is the Suzette stitch. So let's go ahead and take a closer peek at this. Oh gosh, it almost has like, not really a tie-dye look, but like this stone-washed look as you're going through it. But it's all these different purples and blues. Now I had 2 factory knots in here, but it really wasn't a big deal, because I'm just staying on the same color, you know. And with the factory knots, I didn't notice that it adjusted it that much. The Suzette stitch is very easy when you're working up a scarf because, number one, there's no holes. Number two, it is so easy to keep your edges straight on the Suzette stitch. And the reason that it's easy to keep your edges straight on the Suzette stitch is because you see like this bump and this bump and this bump. So if you go to the next row and that bump's not lining up just right, you didn't line it up right. So I like the Suzette stitch for scarves because some stitch patterns are really hard to keep your edges straight. No matter how hard you try, you find out 15 rows later that you goofed up 15 rows ago, and you can't fix it. So the Suzette stitch is very forgiving in that nature. It's very, very easy to keep your sides. I do have the Suzette stitch tutorial on my channel, and in the description, I will go ahead and put a link to that. It is really quite a simple stitch. It is a 1-row repeat, but you get this solid fabric when you're done. And this one was done with the 5.5. So remember, it recommends a 5. I did a 5.5, and that kept it's just the ideal for this particular. I wish I did the 5.5 in the other swatches too. The 5.5 is just ideal for this yarn. I think 5 is creating too dense of a fabric, but this has lovely drape. Like I said, I don't think this is going to be a super warm scarf in the wintertime, but it'll be warm enough, and it's just going to be beautiful. I have, this is actually going to be a gift for a friend. But I was really, really happy with this. The Suzette stitch works up pretty fast, again, because it's a 1-row repeat. And this fabric is just stunning. I'm going to show you what this looks like on. Okay, so just wanted to give you a glimpse of what this just beautiful scarf looks like on. Now, this is not complete because it's not long enough for me. I think, so I am almost at 4 feet on this. I would prefer to have 7 feet, 6.5 to 7 feet. I'm 6 foot tall, so I like to have about my same height in the length of my scarf. So that's a good kind of rule of thumb. But even if you're a little bit shorter, people like longer scarves. They can wrap them around. So I like 7 feet. That's where I like to be. Anyway, so you can see where this falls. So this is one entire ball of the spun colors. So you really need 2 balls to do a scarf, but you're probably not going to use the entire second ball. You're going to use one. Let's see, I got almost 4 feet out of this. You're going to use probably 1.75. So you're probably going to have just a little bit left at the end, which is perfect in case you want to make any fringe or anything on your scarf. But you can see I went 9 inches, and see the thickness of this. This is just what I like in a scarf because you can fold it, you can do whatever you want to do, but this is about the thickness that I like, and it's nice to be able to wrap yourself in the scarf. I live in Ohio, so it gets cold here sometimes. So anyway, get 2 skeins or 2 balls if you are wanting to make a scarf. you can definitely accomplish a hat in one. You could probably do a hat and gloves in one. So if you wanted to, if you're making a Christmas gift for somebody and you want to do a scarf, a hat, and gloves, um, get 3 balls of this and you'll be able to do that. I actually recently found some patterns for the Suzette stitch in a hat and the Suzette stitch in mittens as well. So I may actually just end up doing that for my friend. Not 100% sure. I'm definitely going to finish the scarf for her, but I really like this. Get yourself 2 balls of this, and you're going to find yourself with a beautiful, beautiful scarf. And then, like I said, hat wise, just get you 1 ball and you're good to go. Thank you all for tuning in to the tutorial today for the Premier Spun Colors. I hope you appreciated the content. If you did, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification icon so you know when I post new content, all of the things. And again, thanks for stopping by. Hope you have a great day. Bye.